Hello tacticians, straight on the back of a very successful faction tournament arena for me. I managed to finish 23rd. I had a request to have a look at the World Eaters, and I must admit, they're not as bad as you might think. As always, thank you to everyone who supports the channel, whether it's through subscribing or using my friend code, as it really does help me out. So let's have a quick look at each one and then dive into some gameplay. First off, we have got Wrask. Now this guy is... well, I'll be honest with you, he's not going to do a massive amount of damage, but he does give shields thanks to his passive ability, where after he arrives from Deep Strike or defeats an enemy in melee, he and adjacent friendly Chaos units gain a shield with approximately 1000 health at Epic, and obviously that scales. It's not a massive amount, but when you combine it with things like Resilient, it certainly does help being able to push forward. His active ability, Bloody Fury, deals quite a decent amount of chain damage to an adjacent enemy, because the attack scores an additional hit for each time Wrask was attacked this battle. So if you manage to survive everyone pummeling Wrask, then he's going to have a decent counterattack, and it can hit more than one enemy, which can then obviously stack those shields even more. But I wouldn't expect that to happen too often. He has only got a movement of 2, but combine that with your Rapid Assault and that's a decent move of 3, and he Deep Strikes, so he's certainly going to be able to get to where he wants to be when he needs to be there. And don't forget, he's clad in Terminator armour, and with Unstoppable, nothing is going to slow this guy down. So he is actually your tank and a decent person to put forward if you wish to sacrifice someone, who you might want to do, to lure the enemies towards you. Sorry Wrask, but that's your life. Or lack of it afterwards. Mesa is one of your glass hammers, and boy can he pack a massive punch. His passive ability deals additional damage for each of his health that he's currently missing. In addition, if he has defeated an enemy this battle, which is quite likely, then all enemies that he attacks become stunned. So why is it likely he will kill someone? Well, he's got the Jackal Stims, which means he deals 4 lots of physical damage, which isn't the best, to an adjacent enemy and all other enemies adjacent to both Mesa and the target. He will then lose 25% of his current health and can additionally perform another normal attack this turn. And it's that combination of the Jackal Stims and the normal attack, which means he will make sure someone dies. Thankfully, he has got the Resilient trait, so he may be able to withstand at least one counterattack. And one thing I haven't mentioned is because they are all Khorne here, they will deal more damage and receive less damage for each unit that was defeated in melee this battle. And as the meta, if you will, is very melee oriented, if you lose 1 or 2 characters, his damage gets buffed as well. Azkor is another one that you would like to send forward as that sacrificial lamb to entice the enemies to come towards you. He has got the Demon trait, so he can block up to 50% of his own current damage stat, and obviously that will change depending on what level you're at. He has Resilient, so the enemies are going to have to put some resources into killing him. He's got Terrifying, which again reduces that melee damage which he receives, and Unstoppable, so nothing is going to stop this guy getting to where he wants to be. Very much like Wrask, and both Wrask and Azkor are the ones that you don't really mind dying. Although ideally Azkor should try and stay alive because of his Beacon of Rage. For each time he's attacked in battle, up to a maximum of 8 times, 8 being Khorne's number, Azkor deals additional damage. Then, if he has defeated an enemy in this battle, 50% of that extra damage is granted to the damage of melee attacks of adjacent friendly Chaos units. So, this damage racks up a maximum of 8 times, and half of that is given to your friendly Chaos guys who are standing next to him, as long as Azkor has defeated someone, which, to be honest, he can do. He's got a decent eviscerating attack, and if he survives all the attacks against him using his overwhelming wrath, which he may well do because he will taunt all adjacent enemies and takes less damage from ranged attacks when he is doing this overwhelming wrath, he will then obviously have to be attacked, that bumps up his damage, and then he attacks them at the beginning of his next turn, probably killing 1 or 2 or maybe even 3 if you're lucky of them off, and then it really does ramp up. Again, it's not something you want to rely on, but that reduction in damage is actually quite nice if you can get it off as it will mean he is more likely to survive. And then we have the guy that really needs no introduction, Kharn. Now, again, a bit like Mesa, he is a bit of a glass cannon. You're going to send this guy in, he will murder people, which, it's Khorne, you kind of expect that. And with his movement of 3 and the rapid assault, again, he's getting to where he wants to be. Although, bear in mind, he isn't so good at crossing fire and barbed wire as his pals. He also has Final Vengeance, so if the enemy do decide to attack him and kill him in combat, unless he's overkilled, he's probably going to kill them as well. His passive ability, the Betrayer, means you're going to get a nice little movement, which will take him even closer to the enemy, as long as they're within 2. If they're not, he might go after your own guys, but this will only trigger after you have killed someone, so at least he's a little bit controllable until the bloodthirst sets in. And his active ability, the Kill, Maim, Burn. This is one ability which you can absolutely delete not 1, not 2, but sometimes even 3 enemies in one go. Time this right, and the enemy will literally disappear. And for the faction tournament arena, they bring in Angrax as a buddy, and he is another one who can quite happily go forward and be sacrificed or hold someone in place, because if anyone tries to run away from Angrax, he gets a bit slap happy and tells them not to with no uncertain terms. And that is thanks to his hateful assault, where any enemy that moves from a hex adjacent to Angrax takes power damage, which is a nice little bonus when you're trying to whittle them down. But the one thing that I keep forgetting is that when he charges into combat, although admittedly he has only got movement 2, he actually gets to deal additional damage as well. And his active ability is nothing to be sniffed at. It will deal power damage to a melee target and more power damage to another random adjacent enemy to Angrax. And unlike many other things, it doesn't have to be adjacent to the first target. So Angrax is one of those characters, he can take a bit of a beating thanks to his Terminator armour, but he can certainly dish it as well. Wrask could certainly learn something from him. So we've talked about all of them very quickly, let's have a good look at them in action and see what they can do. Let's pit the World Eaters against probably one of the best teams in the faction tournament arena, the Blood Angels. What we might want to do to begin with is move Angrax onto a point. We'll move Kharn forward and give them both shields, and we'll just move the other 2 forward as well because we don't want them doing any trickery moving with Mephiston and, say, Swordbrother Godswill to charge down here to kill Mesa for free. Now, what they might do is not fall for the obvious trap of going in when you've got shields up, so they're just going to wait a turn and move forward, safe in the knowledge that they can do that and not have to worry. So what do we do? Well, we're going to take another hex and move up as well. However, knowing full well how dangerous Martenio is, we're going to move Kharn back 1 and say, I've got 2 points, Blood Angels, you're going to have to do something. And at this point, they will probably do something. We're going to move Mephiston forward, just in case we need to swap places with anyone, but I don't think we will need to do that, but he's going to be ready for next turn. The reason why I'm moving him that far forward is because I'm going to activate Nicodemus on these 2. So what we'll do, let's get Angrax in a position where Martenio's stomp can hit both Azkor and Angrax. And whilst I could have attacked Mesa here, let's just pretend he was out of range. Not quite killing them both off, and let's finish them off. And this is why you need to be careful with just assuming where the computer will place things when you tell them to attack. I was expecting him to stay maybe here, so he didn't use a melee attack, but he decided to move on to the barbed wire anyway. But, as I said, we're not playing perfectly. So already the World Eaters are 2 characters down. What can they do to retaliate? Well, they still have Kharn, who is going to activate Kill, Maim, Burn to do just that. And Wrask will happily kill off Lucian to gain a shield. And Mesa, well, we'll just attack this guy normally, killing him off. So it's now 3 apiece. Mephiston will take a spot and attack, and Brother Godswill no longer has his movement, so we'll attack him normally as well. Quite a lot of damage, but Wrask is quite a tough cookie. Now, we could go down with Nicodemus to attack him as well, but I've learned from that last mistake, so let's just put him over here. Kharn charges in, and it's at this point the World Eaters, I think, have actually got the match, as all that we need to do is kill, let's say, Godswill, and move on to that point. Unfortunately, Mesa can't quite make it, so let's put Kharn here. Does he kill him? He did, and if not, we could have put Mesa up here to kill him off. All that needs to be done now is move Wrask forward, and the World Eaters win. What you need to do here when you're playing as the World Eaters is really protect those hard-hitting assets that you've got with Kharn and Mesa. Now, obviously, Mesa wasn't used in this particular scenario. Maybe we'll see him in the next one. So let's face off another popular team, the Tau. And as you can see, they've got a fairly good coverage here, but I think we're fairly safe in doing a similar sort of opening. Now, the one thing that we may wish to consider is how far forward to put Mesa. I personally don't think they would actually shoot with Shadow Sun against Mesa here, so I think Mesa will be fairly safe on the bridge. What I imagine they will do, however, is move forward and go into Overwatch. Let's go here. Puts these two under pressure. Now, I don't know if this is what a Tau player would do. I haven't played with the Tau faction in the tournament arena for a while, so I'm just second guessing. And as we can't reach anyone apart from these two, we don't want to hit Wrask. He only gets more powerful, so we'll choose Angrax. Now, we can't hit Mesa with Darkstrider, so maybe we'll just keep him back here. And let's just bunch up a little bit. But we also don't want Shadow Sun being hit by anyone, so let's see where they can get to. Yeah, so should be safe here. Might even be better on the high ground there. So normally what happens is everyone's scared to go in because of Ravas's Overwatch. However, with Terminator armor, it's not really an issue. So let's move Wrask. He'll get shot and, well, to be honest, he laughs it off. And with that done, we can move in and let's do some damage to this one. And what we're trying to do, if it catches up, is leave a path. Now, we can't actually get to Show Sil here, which is a bit of a shame. Maybe we should have chosen the bottom one, so at least Mesa could have gone in. But let's see if we can kill this drone. There you go, and getting a shield, which is a nice little bonus. So I believe Kharn is in the great spot here. Let's do a kill, maim, burn. See exactly how much he can kill, maim, and burn. And unfortunately not enough, but let's get rid of him. And we'll go in the grass with Mesa. So Kharn is an absolute threat. We want to move away from him. But before we do that, let's see what we can do with people like Darkstrider. So let's target him. And we'll move Shadow Sun here to then teleport here and shoot again, killing off Wrask. Now, because Show Sil is next to the drone, we can get 2 shots off, hopefully, and see if that will kill Kharn. Not quite. But Ornshi is there to finish the job. Like that. It's now moved back to the World Eaters, and really all that they need to do is capture a point and kill one person. So let's see what Mesa can do with his Jackal Stims to someone like Darkstrider here. Oh, he killed them both, which would win the game. So as you can see, the World Eaters can hold their own, but you do have to be very careful about where you place Kharn and Mesa. You need to keep them alive if you want to win. However, feel free to sacrifice the rest. I will of course return to them if and when we finally get the 5th World Eater. If you like these videos, then it would be much appreciated if you at least think about using my friend code, as it really does help me out. Or if you or your guilds are looking for a new home, please reach out to any of the guilds shown, as we'll always welcome new people into our midst. As always, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and I'll be seeing you on the battlefield.